Hello everyone, my name is Amar and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to talk about public speaking. I believe that this is a bit of a really important topic considering the fact that these days we need people that are more approachable and are also more open to more opinions, obviously. So by that, there are a lot of people that reached out to me, most of my friends of course. They talked about how to actually become a good speaker, actually. They always ask a lot of frequent questions, and I believe that I want to answer all these questions right now, and now let's get into it. So first of all, the most important fact in speaking is to actually become a lot more confident in speaking. Actually, it's how you share your points to other people, obviously. One of the frequent questions I was asked is, how do we get confidence in speaking? Confidence comes in a lot of ways, actually. For me, I would give a suggestion. For instance, wearing your favorite shirt to your session, obviously. Speaking with a tone which sometimes is different comparing to other people, obviously, and it depends on yourself. I cannot say much about that because it depends on the situation as well. The situation sometimes differs for everyone. Another frequent question is, how do you improve your language skills? Obviously, public speaking, for in this case English, obviously, because I really can't say about any other language. I'm not really good at any languages. I know a bit of German, I know a bit of Russian, a little bit of Turkish, but not really good at other languages except for English. English is not my first language, obviously. So, to get this straight, pronunciation sometimes differs. There are a lot of slangs and it doesn't really differentiate you from other people. It doesn't mean you're not a good speaker. Sometimes people have a different pronunciation depending on which country they originate from. You don't need to be intimidated with your own slang, obviously. It depends. Don't be too ironic saying that, oh, I can't do this, my slang is ridiculous. No. There is no such thing as ridiculous in our own terms, obviously. There are a lot of levels when it comes to public speaking. It depends on the audience itself. If your target audience is, for instance, 12-year-olds, for instance, you can't really use pronunciations or vocabulary that are not a standard to them eventually. Why is this possible is you need to suit their level, obviously. Level is important in trying to actually improve your speaking. It doesn't really change the fact that if you speak with a tone or a language that is not understandable, it really affects the whole speech. Nobody will understand you. It doesn't really work. Why are you saying about something if they don't understand your points or opinion, obviously? There is no point. I sometimes get asked if is it allowed to use cards during a speech, or maybe drafting a speech, obviously. That is not a problem at all. There is no problem with that at all. It doesn't mean you don't have any confidence or whatsoever. It just means that you are preparing at some point, but you have to practice. Practice makes perfect. Communication is key. To make it perfect, obviously, you need to actually practice a lot. Some I would recommend, this is my recommendations when you are in a speech, do not stutter a lot. I am a bit stuttery because I'm not really good in front of the camera. I'm not really a camera person. I don't really like that. And that's why I'm a bit stuttering right now. So just to be sure that you don't stutter in front of the audience. I'm not really good at cameras, but in an audience view, I think I am good. Don't worry about that. So better yet, you have to practice with a circle of your friends. I recommend that as well. Maybe a group of, like, for instance, 5 or 10 people would be enough. And usually I would advise you to actually go with a friend when you are going for a speech. So for instance, you're trying to go for a conference. You ask a friend of yours, to actually observe your speech. It really works sometimes. And if they are a part of the crowd, that is a bonus for you. It's just something more. It is something of a support, a moral support, eventually, because you see someone and it really gives that heart a little bit of a sigh of relief, because there is a friend of yours and maybe he'll understand why. Also, I would not recommend you to use too much bombastic words. I would say bombastic words, because it is just not really a good thing. And if you stutter a lot in you pronouncing that thing, it is even horrible. I have to say, I have problems with that during my first few years of public speaking. There was one year I was joining a competition. I was using bombastic words and it wasn't going well for me. I was stuttering. I actually had the pronunciation wrong, and eventually it took a little bit of a time to actually get back to my whole point. It destroys the point, the meaning of your speech eventually. So I would recommend not to use bombastic words. It's just not cut out for a person that is at the first time of public speaking at all. Furthermore, I would like to say it is not really highlighted that you need to memorize all the things. People just ask me, how do you memorize your own essay? How do you memorize your speech? And really, I didn't really memorize too much. The key is that sometimes, speeches, they don't even look at your text. They don't have the text in front of them like what you're trying to say. It doesn't really matter. Whatever it is, actually, there's one point in which your brain cells are able to produce more points. It's individual points. That does not really have any relations to your previous point that you lost. It is not really the same point. And people will never know. They will never know that the point is changed, because they don't even have your speech. And you're the only person that would declare what is the real deal in your speech, obviously. Another question that I've been asked is, how do you approach people who do not like my speech? Well, I don't really care very much. If the approach is about a lot of agreements and disagreements. Speeches are meant to be like that. Disagreements are always there, but there is some who just don't take it seriously. So if there are people who just ask you like, dude, I have a suggestion for you for your future speech, and I would consider you listen to them, because sometimes your people who listen to your speech know more the defects that you had during your speech. And that really worked out, really. There was a competition last year. I went for public speaking, and my trainer asked me to perform in front of a few members of, actually I represented a class last year. So the trainer was my teacher. She said that she has a class that day, so she decided, why not you come with me to my class and present your speech. I was like, no problem. I tried it out, and there are some of those people, members of the class, that said I had a problem. One of them is how I actually approach people, how I actually pronounce, and also actually there are a few more things actually. It depends on my body movement as well. I did not have a lot of body movements. That's really obvious. At that time I was a bit of a nervous person. I too have nervousness. I have that problem as well. You don't need to be worried about that. There is always one thing that you are worried about. there is always that misconfidence. But the important thing is that you need to present your points. That's it. That is the point of public speaking. Why would you present your speech and people don't understand you? That is just nothing. That is useless in any single way of life at all. There is no point. So basically, maybe I'll do a second part after this. This video has become a bit longer. So let's just say public speaking, in terms of questions saying about confidence, you just have to be confident in what you're trying to say. Disagreements or agreements from other people are and will be there. Of course, nobody will agree with us at all. It is a speech after all. Why wouldn't it be 100% correct? It is a debate. Speeches are meant to be debated, and therefore don't need to be unconfident of yourself. Lack of confidence is actually because of people and discrimination sometimes, and sometimes it's because of our personality, our view of life, and how we present ourselves to the people. Actually, if we present in the correct way, an honest way, and the most important thing is keep a good personality when you're talking to people. Talking to the people sometimes requires you to actually look the part and present your speech perfectly. That is how people become great in public speaking. I'll do a second part after this, and don't worry, it will come out soon enough. Also, please help me by subscribing to my channel below. Click the subscribe button, click the bell button. If you have any suggestions, please, I'm more willing to accept any suggestions in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.